I think it's the fifth hearing this morning. Um, so like we're starting at 4 in the morning. I turned it on and just lay there, just waking up because I have to make breakfast at 6:30 for my boys. And what's amazing is the nuances that the more clarity. So on December 18th, there was this wild meeting where using some influence, probably Rudy Giuliani, got a junior aide to get them into the White House, sneak them in. Him with Flynn and that crazy attorney woman, right? And they sneak him in, and then it gets word to Cipollone that this event's going on. So he rushes. So they only have 15 minutes with the president before Cipollone gets there. And on a side note, right, Cipollone is sent away by the president later on because the president knows his position, so he doesn't want to hear him. When the president and that crazy attorney meets, he's on his way to the office, and he just gave his testimony, and it's obviously, since it was privileged, meaning that the president sent him away. This conversation with the president. He didn't want him in there because he knew he would try to, talk him out of it. So he couldn't get to that second meeting. That was an aside. So going back to the 18th. So there's this massive, hurling of insults and everything. So that one, you got to watch the test. Part of the testimony. You got to watch it, right? If you don't watch anything, so it's just fucking mind blowing that this is happening in the friggin' White House. It's gonna be a great movie scene for Oliver Stone, and and eventually it breaks up, and and Meadows escorts Giuliani off of the premises because he didn't trust him because he had where he would go. So the Meadows takes him off, and his aide took a nice picture of them walking down the fucking hallway with him escorting him out, drunk Rudy. So that night, after everyone calmed down, Trump is all up and is all upset because and everything else. So he's like, "Fuck it, my people are gonna help me. They're gonna help me." So he sends out this crazy tweet announcing on December 19th of January 6th. And they show kind of like this snowball effect that he knows his power. He knows and we all agree that there are crazies on the internet, right? There's all these crazies. So he basically puts this fucking call to arms to all these crazy fuckers out there, which are in these militia groups and these, government hating groups. It's like, we're going to have blood, and they use different terms and everything else. And they even said, be wild was code word, Trump's code word for hanging and doing executions and shit like that. So this is what the crazies were thinking, right? And Trump knows his shit. He knows his effect on people. So that was the motivation for that tweet, right? That he sent in the early mornings of December 19th, right? His early mornings there. Try to make sure the wind isn't blowing in the speaker as I'm walking in it, to get to get that all going. And here's Ali Alexander, who I've done talks on before with the whole platform that he did, funded by all this $1 billion that came out of it's the alternate Twitter. So here's Ali Alexander calling for 1776. There isn't a lot of coverage for the speakers, which would be good to look at on the 5th. They had their own little stage set up. Trump had the door open. He was listening. He was in the state of excitement. It's like, yeah, my boys are here. They've all come. And they hadn't seen him as excited in weeks as these staffers. And then he's in there, had all his staffers in there, just the staffers. Didn't have any of the top people saying, what can we do? What can we do? So he's trying to orchestrate how we can get these Republicans, we call rhinos, Republicans name them, who don't support him, to get behind the whole, fake electors thing. So it's amazing how this is all unfolding. And at the same time, we know that there's this meeting at the War Room that Bannon is talking about in his podcast going on at the same time as all this shit later on that Meadows basically wanted to get to, and ends up getting to on a phone call. And now we understand why General Flynn, who wanted to, he's basically said the fifth, and what he was doing in the sense of, that attorney, hers thing is that she was given special counsel, to investigate and top secret clearance and everything else. But Cipollone refused to do the paperwork and everything else, and basically, in a way, violated Trump's order, right? If you want to look at it factually, the president said, yes, she has the special counsel position, and yes, she has full security clearance, and he said it in that meeting. And yet, Cipollone in his testimony was, well, I didn't understand it as that, right? After them, even though so this craziness was going on there, and the speakers are going on, and then they have their meetings. The Oath Keepers and the 3%er, or the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers were meeting in a fucking parking garage, as we saw in film. All of this is taking place, right? It's all fingers of the same web, and at the center is Donald Trump.